आयच्या दिसाची निमणी पत्रकार परिशद रोखडीच सुरू जावपाची आसा. भारतीय पॅनोरामाचेर वेचिल्ली केंजिरा आनी माय घाट ह्या दोनूय चित्रपटांचेर सविस्तर रुपान चर्चा जावपाची आसा. तर चला पत्रकार परिशद चालू आसा थंय चलुया.
We have first Manoj Kanaji, who is a director of Kenjira. Let me elaborate a little bit about Kenjira. It's a film that portrays pitiable condition of the Paniyan tribe. In a fight against dampening hunger, Kenjira, a girl student, she has to go through continuous humiliation. After sexual assault, she becomes teenage mother and a matter of fun for the society. Her community tries to protect her, but still it falls due to lack of legal know-how. Ostracized, they literally get stuck amidst the rivers, but Kenjira, having her child, wanders in the river and strives to get back to bank. Welcome sir, warm welcome. Then we have here cast and crew of My Ghat. We have renowned director Ananta Mahadevan ji here, who doesn't need any more introduction. We have veteran actress Swasini Noyaji. We have here Usha Jadhav. Director Mahadevan ji is an actor and director. He has won National Film Award for his 2000 Marathi biopic Me Sindhutai Sapkar. It has won 25 international it has won acclaims in 25 international festivals all over the world. Movie speaks about one incident in 2018 when in the history of judiciary in India, two policemen were given the death sentence. It was a result of a protracted 30-year-long personal fight by a mother whose son she knows were wrongly branded as thief and tortured to death in their custody. The film explores the impact of such violent act and questions our social and personal conscience. The deeply flawed security system, legal system, and the ominous caste barriers which result in the erosion of human values, and how each character is drawn into the quagmire of guilt that is shown by this movie. Welcome sir, welcome to all of you. I declare now floor is open for questions.
Thank you so much for the introductions, and no introduction for me, so that was good. And on my left, I'd like to introduce the team. Usha Jadhav, a very renowned actress, a national award-winning actress, and she is the lead in this film. Swasini Malaji, we are all fanboys of Swasini ji ever since Bhuvan Shom, and it's been an honor to work with her. And of course, one of the most master craftsmen of our country and an ace cinematographer, Mr. Alphonse Roy, recognized by his hat and his camera. So that's the team, and of course, Manojji, your film too. So we are all here, and we are open to questions. Please go ahead, fire.
Thank you. Going for biopics, last time Me Sindhutai, now this one. Even other films, some of them were almost like biopics, but they were not mentioned as biopics. What attracts you to make biopic cinema?
No, it's just a corrective measure that I am adopting, because a lot of people in this country are making biopics in the name of biopics. So I'm just correcting the wrong, interpretation, the misnomer that what is happening is not biopics. Biopics need a different approach totally. They need to be faithful to the original content and the subject. And anyway, My Ghat is not... Hi there. Why are you standing? Please come. Take a chair. My Ghat is not a biopic. It's based on a situation that happened. It's based on an incident that happened. So I wouldn't call it a biopic, but it's a true story. But in the name of true stories and the name of real life, real people, what we end up making are not biopics. So please don't confuse their biopics with my biopics.
Tell me about your experience working with film and the film quality. In traveling to other festivals, you won an award, and talk to me about your experience with the film.
Well, my experience working on this film was extraordinary. I think I would like to say thanks first to Anand sir for offering me this role because in actor's life you don't get these kind of roles. Do you agree? In actor's life, you know, we don't get like these kind of roles, means a real life character to play, you know. So I think I thanks to him. Then my producer Mohini, she is not here, but very great decision she took by to produce this film, and overall experience was excellent working with Suhasini Tai, working with Alphonse. It was a great experience, and it was emotionally very draining for me, the performances at times, but it was amazing. And yeah, we all are very happy that the film is traveling all over the world, and in Singapore we won awards, in New York we won awards, in Kolkata we won best film. And now we are here in not only in Panorama, but we are in the international competition. We are fighting for Golden Peacock along with other 13 international films. So that's a great thing, and it's been amazing experience for me working on this film.
This is the second film that I'm doing with Anand. He's one person who, besides being a director who knows what he wants exactly, he is also a person, I think, of personal integrity, and I think that makes a huge difference as to how the cast and crew reacts to your director. I do not think that he puts even a single frame that he does not believe in the film. Whether it's a story about a woman, or it's a story about a person, or it's a larger story. I worked on his earlier film called Rough Copy. Rough Book, my apologies. But this is something where he's able to deal with larger issues. And especially in this film, I think what I really liked was that one was always pushed to underplay. The amount of times I have been told, Madam, thoda aur emote kar dein, and it has been great to be able to play it naturally, much as a person would. I have a little bit of technical knowledge, and I have made a few films, so it was interesting to see the communication between the cameraman and the director as to exactly what they wanted in the frame. And that way, I think Anand being very clear, not just in terms of performances, but exactly what he wanted the picture to look like. And I actually saw my Ghat for the first time yesterday, because I've been missing the show in Bombay, and I've been complaining, and one of the reasons why I said, what on earth, I have to go to Goa and see this film, this is just getting to me now. I'm very glad to be here. But I think that what I really liked about the film was that he has managed to do something very difficult. He's actually used silence as a strength. And I think what Usha does with that quality, because again it's a very restrained performance, it's a film that makes you stop from our normal eating that we are used to in terms of the way the films are paced. We are used to very quick films. And I think that because the film is definitely slow in it's not slow in its storytelling, but it's slow in its treatment, it also makes you aware of the fact that this woman has been fighting for 13 long years to get justice. And I think that is the most important quality about this film. And working with Anand is always a pleasure. He's a good guy.
And Anand, you're competing in 13 other international films.
Yes, it's indeed an honor, and we were pleasantly surprised. When you were selected in the Panorama, I was delighted because this was my 4th year. I was here with Red Alert, and then with Me Sindhutai Sabkal, then Gaur Hari Dastan, and this year with My Ghat. But when a week or 10 days later, when they selected the film for the international festival, that was very inspiring, because it put in a lot of confidence in the kind of work that this full team had, put in, and especially the producer. I mean, she's not present here at the moment, but Mohini Gupta, for her conviction, because unlike, like I said yesterday, presenting the film, unlike many of our corporates who take their own sweet time in deciding whether a film should be made or not, or how a film should be made, and how much money should be spent, you probably spend a lifetime in deciding. She took 15 minutes to decide, proving all these people wrong, that it is decisions that actually make, or break a particular project, whatever it is in life. And you wouldn't believe it, I'm sharing this with the media for the first time. She simply refused to take a narration of the script in spite of me telling her, please listen to it, you'll feel good that you're getting into a good project. She said, no, I will watch the film. So when a producer had this kind of faith and confidence, there was no way in hell that I could let her down. So we are here on this platform today, and we are very close to, I would say, I'm so happy that the international jury is watching our film. That's good enough, that they know that somewhere Indians think like this and talk a global cinema language, which my Ghat does. So I think that's good enough for me, yes.
Manoj, can you tell us how the idea of movie came to you? How you got inspiration for it?
Namaskaram. Basically, I'm a theatre person in Malayalam theatre. Firstly, I make a play named Urati about the life and culture and their struggles. Express that play in 2003. Totally about 20 years of experience with the tribals in Kerala, especially in Wayanad district, the border place of Karnataka and Tamil Nadu and Kerala. It hardly touched my mind, and I start to make a film, but no money. This is my third film. So our society, Nehru Cultural Society, collected money from the people and organizing 2 or 3 committees for collection, and to arrange the location and the sets, and another committee for food. Then all common people, no difference in politics, religion, all people help us. Then we start this film, and all the artists from tribals, mainly in Paniya tribals, totally approximately 10 or 11 groups, different tribal gotras in Wayanad, mainly Paniyas, then Kurcha, Kurava, Katanaikya, Virali, just like. But the major part of them is Paniyas. The Paniyas is closely related, the agriculture, farmers, common people, but they were very utter poverty now. So we think about the Paniyas, and we arranged Kenjira. Before, firstly, we make 3 plays: Urati, Udakuba, then Patani Maranam. 3 plays. 2 are street plays. Udakuba, come here in English. 10 years before, lower primary school closed the government for uneconomic. That I don't know, Muttanga, the famous struggling place in Wayanad district. Yes. That place school is closed. At that time, we arranged a short screenplay and staged all colonies surrounding Muttanga. One or two or three times. Then after morning, we go to colony and collecting students and going to school. Now the school is full strength school now. That is Udakuba. Then Patni Maranam, it's another play. It is staged all over Kerala in streets and bus stands, railway stations, all other places. Urati is the stage play, the first play. At that play, Anita, Adivasi girl, he won best actress in state award in Kerala. This is the first Adivasi actress.
I think this really calls for a round of applause. And it's probably the first time that film of this language is selected in the Paniya language.
Yes,
is selected in the Iffi. We must support this kind of movements. All strength to you, Mr. Manoj.
Excuse me, sir. Here. Yeah. So I just wanted to know. You said the most of the actors are from the same tribe.
Yes.
So communicating with the technicians and all, how did you manage to communicate? Because
I know very well Paniya Bhasha, Paniya and Mullukuruma, Adiya Bhashas, I know. Then my friends, crew members are Malayalis. Then I easily communicate.
But being a Malayali myself, I don't understand a lot of the dialects or whatever you're talking. So, how come you communicated? That's what I was asking. Because this is the first time, as sir said, this is the first time there's a movie in Paniya, and most of the people from Kerala might not be getting the language. So that's why I wanted to know.
Clearly, please tell me in short.
സർ ഞാൻ ചോദിച്ചത് മിക്ക മലയാളികൾക്ക് പോലും മനസ്സിലാവാറില്ലല്ലോ ഈ ഡയലക്റ്റ്. അപ്പം അത് എങ്ങനെ ടെക്നീഷ്യനുമായിട്ട് എങ്ങനെ കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേറ്റ് ചെയ്തത്, എങ്ങനെ അവരുടെ അടുത്ത് കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേഷൻ ചെയ്യാൻ ഏത് ഭാഷയാണ് ഉപയോഗിച്ചത്? അത് പനിയൽ തന്നെയാണോ പറഞ്ഞത്, അത് എങ്ങനെയാണോ മലയാളത്തിൽ?
I communicate with the tribals in Paniya language and my crew members in Malayalam.
On behalf of the media, I want to ask Anant, the pace of the film which we had kind of sent it up, you were also the editor of the film. So did you have that pace while you were shooting itself, or did it evolve on the editing table? And why did you choose that kind of a pace? Which is, when people say it's slow, it is relatively slow, not for your storytelling.
You see, every script dictates its own pace. You have to know at what pace a certain story is moving. If it is a story of a chase, it has to be a frantic, kind of pace. And if it is a story of someone waiting for 13 years, you know that the character is going through a long pause. I don't mean that it should be heavy on the audience, but the weight should be conveyed. And the weight is what actually makes the audience, involved in the film. It impacts an audience, and it's the emotional gravity of the film. So basically, being an editor, I knew exactly where and how long to hold a scene or to hold a shot, because it was very important for certain things to be conveyed and underlined in that manner. We have understated the film, but we have underlined a lot of things by the pauses, and like Suhasini ji correctly said, the silences. So it's a very dicey thing. It's like walking a tightrope when you decide the pace of a film, because today's lives, everyone wants to move on. If you don't get your connection when you put it on your 4G connection, you're cursing, because you expect that to come within a second. And when you sit in an auditorium, you want the movie to get on with it. The tolerance levels of everything in every part of society, whether it's marriage or movies, has gone down terribly. So it is very, very tough to involve an audience. But yesterday what happened was, we had a packed house at the Inox, and the silence on screen was as palpable as the silence in the auditorium. Everybody complimented each other, and they were there. It was like suspended in the air, and it was a great, great, great feeling to feel that silence. So pace is something that you have to calculate according to the needs or what a script or a situation demands.
One question to Usha, in terms of what was it your preparation to go from actor into that character? And one another additional question was, it's addressed for Anant as well as for Usha, is for somebody who's lost your child in custodial death, unfair means, you know, and you run through a struggle for 13 years with justice, and not once we see you with tears in your eyes. You don't cry in the frame. I mean, what is it?
Okay, sir, first you answer.
To add to the question, you have played a very robust character in Firebrand and complete contrast in this film. To add to his question.
Okay. Sir, you answering first? Okay. How I prepared? See, Firebrand was completely different. I'm a director's actor, if you ask me. If my director, Firebrand's director was Arunatai wanted me to act. She wanted me to look that the way I look in the film. She wanted that look. She wanted me to perform in a certain way because that was her vision. So yeah, of course I could do that with because it was director's vision. In this film, it was Anant sir's vision. Anant sir wanted this character to be like this, to act like this. Okay, cry or not cry, that was his decision, whether like my character is crying or not crying. If he says you're not crying, okay, I'm not crying. So that is his decision. How I prepared for the role. See, I never met Prabhavati Amma actually, but Anand sir met with her, and he told me the story. Then he sent me the articles. Then I googled. The case started from 2005 actually. So if you go on Google, you get the story. Then you read, because from 2005 to 2018, it's a long thing. So whatever you get, you actually read. Then I saw her photo. If you see her photo, her hand is like this, no? And if you see her back, it's bended. No? So from that photo, I took that old thing, you know, an old look when I do that, and my back is like that. So from that photo, I took that body language. And emotionally, I'm not a mother, so someone asked me earlier also, that how I could do that. It was emotional preparation has to be there, no? That how you can understand a mother's emotion. I imagine my mother, you know.
Right.
I imagine my mother. So you can actually relate then. You can at least try to understand those emotions if you are imagining your mother. So that's how I prepare myself. Otherwise, I don't have any method. I'm not a method actor. I mean, of course, everyone has methods, but yeah, I'm not a trained actor. Like, okay, I close myself in a closet for a month and things and blah, blah, blah. No, I didn't do that. But he is very clear, Anand sir. Okay, so it makes actor's life easy. Okay, when you're working with a director who has clear idea, yeah, who knows what he wants. As I told you, know, cry or not cry. If he would have asked me to cry, of course I would have cried. So it's easy.
Right.
Yeah.
Hello, hi. My question is again to Usha, Nilima Kulkarni here from News 18. I saw My Ghat yesterday. It was beautiful, mind-blowing experience. And Usha, please tell us more about the shooting experience near river, and you are rising the scale of perfection with every movie. So congratulations.
This morning thing, we were there. We wanted to shoot it in the morning light, and Alphonse was quite anxiety or what?
Rather worked up.
He's perpetually worked up.
You can actually Alphonse can tell this experience, no? Because he can tell it better than me.
See, what I attempted along with Anant was the kind of cinematography that I believe in is cinematography for storytelling. It's not for pretty pictures, if somebody comes and appreciates my film at the end of the film saying that it's beautiful photography, that means I have failed completely. It's the story which is most important, and rest everything, plays harmony to that. The story demanded that the CBA director is going to meet them early in the morning. So we wanted to communicate the time of the day. So, I went out kind of 3 days earlier to that place, observed the light there. When do you get the minimum amount of light to kind of create some kind of an exposure on the camera? Figured out that time. And then checked out the temperature of the water, how cold is it, can you get down, how bearable stuff, checked it out, then came back, told her, click the pictures, look, I could put my hand into it, brainwashed her, and then she turned around and said, look, only one thing I need is I need a cup of tea in the morning. So we were in one very remote place called Vajreshwari, and from there up to that water point, there is nothing there, literally. So we had to wake up a chaiwala, make a cup of tea for her. That is the only demand she did. And then she walked, and I was totally touched when we shot that scene. So just before getting into that, I had to go down, put the camera in the middle of the river at really as close to the water as possible. So we were struggling hard to kind of settle the tripod there and put it. Finished that everything, and I told her that I've got a pair of Crocs with me, which I'll give it to you. It's an early morning silhouette shot. We won't see what is in your feet, so she can walk down. Because when you walk down in that, there are sharp rocks in that riverbed, getting down. It can kind of cut your feet. And but I forgot, and I was standing there with the Crocs and my thing. The right time came, and we said action, and she walked. She didn't turn back and say, where is my chapel? And she walked so comfortably into that cold water, went, did it. We changed the lens. That's professionalism, That's being kind of committed to that whole stuff. Yeah. One question which is still not answered is, Ananta has to talk about the earlier question about the tears and,
I have the general question.
You are not getting that answer from me, Alphonse. You're going to stay all your life regretting you never know the answer.
Yeah. My question is, anyone can answer the question. Nowadays, we got, because the independent filmmakers, they have a lot of struggle. Maybe making film, will not go to the producer and everything. So only thing is, we'll get to the last Panorama we selection, or maybe we'll get the national award or something. Those films we couldn't able to watch. Maybe here also I watched only a couple of films. What is the future of independent filmmakers, and what we can expect from government or doing for maybe like the channels or something, whichever got the film is national award or Panorama selected films or something like that. Future of independent filmmakers. Anyone can comment on that. It is what is the future?
Anand, you're the right person to answer that because you're the one who has struggled hard to raise the money for it.
Well, if you go back into the history of Indian cinema, you will realize that independent cinema was the kind of cinema that was ruling. I mean, when you take a Bimal Roy, when you take Rishikesh Mukherjee, when you take Gulzar, when you take Bashu Chatterjee, and then come down to Shyam Benegal and Govind Nihalani and Mahesh Kaul and Kumar Shani and the likes, all their films coexisted with Mr. Manmohan Desai and Prakash Mehra and Nasir Hussain. There was a time when the audiences were absolutely aware of what they wanted to watch. They would watch an Amar Akbar Antony. They would also watch an Anand or a Guddi. So what eventually happened was the 80s, and after the 80s, 90s started really corrupting the minds of Indian audiences. And what we what we used to love as independent cinema became, slowly into the 2000s, went into the corporates, it went into studios. Today, if I go and ask for 2 crores for a film, they will refuse it. But if I say I want 200 crores, they will give it to me. Because they would expect a star in 200 crores, and they would expect a recovery of 500 crores. Today, it's all about figures. It's not about quality anymore. So the sea of cinema versus the sea of commerce versus the sea of creativity is what we are fighting. But we must remember that cinema is not a consumer product. Cinema is a creative art. Unless you respect the sea of creativity first, the sea of commerce will never follow. That could be one of the reasons, I would say very bluntly, that we make the worst films in the world. Of course we want people to see, yes. Wasn't Ardha Satya a super hit? Would you call that a mainstream film? You wouldn't. Wasn't Ankur and Manthan, Nishant? Yeah, so what have we done to ourselves? Where have we come? Where is the fault? Where does it lie? It lies with the perpetrators and the people who consume it, both. But if we continue drugging the audience with the kind of cinema that we are making in the name of stars and in the name of mainstream and in the name of entertainment, which is a very misunderstood term in Indian cinema, we will never get there. I mean, today all over the world, the other day we were at the Kolkata International Film Festival. Alphonse and me watched a 1924 film by a German director called F.W. Murnau. A silent film.
Yeah.
Which one was that?
It was called The Last Laugh.
Last laugh, yeah.
We wanted to just die of shame. Because if this was 1924 in Europe and the rest of the world, and if this was the kind of technique that cinema and the thought that went behind these kind of films, we haven't even progressed even one bit. I mean, don't you want the world to be proud, or India to be proud of its cinema, or the world to be proud of Indian cinema? Why aren't we making the effort? Why isn't somebody coming and saying, go ahead, do it? How many Mohini Guptas am I going to get ready to make my next films? We need to get to that world level, because the world outside, when I take my films to film festivals, they mock us. They say, Bollywood, oh, we are not interested in watching it. That's the kind of approach. And until I convince them that my films are not Bollywood, we have to get there. We have to get our audiences. When we make a 2 crore film, we will be happy with 20 crores. We do not need 200 crores. That is 200% profit for us. Good enough to make the next film. Let us do it in spurts. Let us do it in, small steps. But please, let's do it. Let's initiate it. Let's not kill it.
Perhaps escapism is the more of a motive in watching films. So all of us are to blame probably. Manoj, do you want to again answer? Do you want to answer the same question? That you want to answer?
Hello, sir.
You may have also, as a maker of unconventional films, probably you may also face similar difficulties in marketing the product. And in that regard, do you think Iffi is a good platform for such kind of budding filmmakers?
In my opinion, theatre and film also art, so we very seriously approach to film, but now most of films produced like a commercial product. So the producers not willing to produce art movies in Kerala. So we we try to. I am politically and socially committed person. So we collect money from the people, then make small films and plays. That is only the way for interact with the people. Thanks.
No, actually, Jyoti, one sec. One very important thing over here is, everybody loved the film yesterday. When we showed it to a select and a sample audience, the women were weeping in the audience. The thing is that there is an audience for these films. It's the distributors and the exhibitors who do not have the guts to give us a show. We tell them, give us the smallest Audi. We don't want more than 100 seats. Give us the 100-seater Audi. Find it full every week. Take it to the second week. Increase it cinema by cinema. Do not charge 300 rupees for a My Ghat. No one's going to come and watch My Ghat for 300. Charge us 100 rupees. You will get more footfalls at 100 rupees than at 300 rupees. They refuse to change their policies. The distributors do not want to take the chance or the risk. How do you expect these films to reach? I mean, we want our films to reach the maximum audience. We find the festival route because this is where it takes off, But then it has to reach a wider audience, and every time you sell one ticket, it is a commercial film. Please do not call our films non-commercial films. They are commercial films. We want to sell tickets.
We were expecting from government something.
No, the Indian government has a history of not supporting art. So let us not, expect anything from the Indian government for cinema. But there are subsidies, like in Maharashtra, they give you a subsidy for this thing, which is very useful for a producer to recover a lot of their expenses. But I wish, like in most of the European countries where films are produced by government agencies, I wish the government would come forward and acknowledge, they can put a minimum standard of, or a criteria of merit for a film. Only then would they support it. But we would welcome that, and I wish we would do it. I don't think in India anyone takes cinema seriously.
To add a point to what Anand said, Tamil Nadu has a cap on cinema tickets at 120 rupees. You look at more of Tamil cinema, more amount of non-hero based, where script is the king, those kind of films are coming out. One of the major reason is the capping on cinema tickets.
So other than
Europe
Maharashtra
also,
and Tamil Nadu, is there any other states which are working closer to improving the films of independent film?
okay.
Not that I know of.
Improving the film?
No, if you're talking about subsidies, no, not that.
They say Maharashtra, then now he came up with Tamil Nadu. Is there any other state?
What he said, Maharashtra was the subsidy stuff. Tamil Nadu also gives subsidy. Cinema tickets, there is a capping on the ceiling on the maximum you can sell. 120 rupees in Tamil Nadu.
Charge.
And so in Tamil Nadu, like in Chennai, if you go, you have to shoot, advance book the tickets. Otherwise, most of the shows run houseful.
Sir, my question was to Alfonso, sir. One was the cap. From when did you fall in love with the cap, and any specific reason to it? The other one is, how do you prepare yourself to be in the cameras when you shoot a movie? You get a script, and from there, what process do you take to work on?
I'm from wildlife cinematographer. I used to be a documentary cameraman. Me and Suhasini used to shoot current affair films for documentary, why does riots happen? And so such kind of films I started from. So I used to be a news cameraman. I used to be a shoot stringer work for Doordarshan at 8 rupees a fit for Riverside film. So came from that, and when I came into wildlife, when we used to work in the forest, we are there throughout the day in the sun. And then if you see an animal or something, you have to keep your eye on the animal, walk under the bushes and stuff, just to protect my eyes from any of the branch hitting. That's where I started wearing the hat. And then I started going to the schools to kind of show my film, to do environmental education. And because while I was a presenter, I wear the hat. When I go to the school with the hat, the children could identify me with the image on the screen. That's how it started. Finally, I ended up, my driver used to come to the airport. If I don't wear the hat, he'll say, "Saab aaj aaye nahi." So now it's become a part of my identity crisis.